Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Das Weiser, who is not German, but loves the German language. I can assure you that I love it. Today I'm bringing you a commentary and a couple of updates on this channel. So Christmas has come and gone. If you got anything cool for Christmas, be sure to come by and leave a comment. You know, just be like, Das Weiser, look what I got. I'll be like, cool. I'll give you a like or two. Probably the best thing I got for Christmas is actually a new phone, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, I believe it's called. In fact, I'm actually timing myself right now on it. It's a really neat phone. I was actually going to get the Samsung Galaxy S6, but I decided to come with the Note. And I decided that because, first of all, the screen is a lot bigger and it comes with a stylus. So I was like, ooh, a stylus, that's really interesting. Second of all, it does a little bit more than the Samsung Galaxy S6 and the same thing. So I thought, bigger screen with a stylus, basically the same thing. I think I'll take the Note 5. So that's how I ended up with that. Another thing that I got is actually a new desk for Christmas, and it's really big. My other desk that I had was actually not too big. I really don't know the lengths of it, but I can tell you right now that this desk is really big. It's it's huge. But anyway, another subject I wanted to talk about today is school. And first I just want to give thoughts of senior year. I'm actually currently a senior at a high school in Arizona, and I just wanted to give maybe some advice and what I thought about my high school experience. First of all, for you younger fellows, senior year is definitely the best year. You're basically the top dogs on campus. However, I didn't really find it too special. It seemed a lot like junior year. You know, you just kind of want to like, all right, you know, high school experience has come and gone. I just want to get out. Hang on, but let me start at the bottom of the list. So I just want to say about my freshman year, it's a little bit new. You kind of feel like quote unquote scrubs, but you are pretty new and you really don't know what to expect. So, you know, you kind of get like into it a little bit and you're like, okay, I get the gist of it. Then we move on to sophomore year, and that was actually probably the hardest year for me just because we had two new teachers that were actually really, really strict, and it was a really hard workload for all of us at the sophomore grade level. And it seemed like freshman year was actually complete cake compared to sophomore year. So I guess it really depends on what school you go to, but for me, it's sophomore year. However, I've heard at other schools it's junior year that's the hardest year. Or maybe even senior year if you're taking like a bunch of AP classes and stuff. Junior year, it seemed a lot like sophomore year. You get the hang of all the things that were sophomore year. It's basically repetitive, at least for me it was, you know. The workload wasn't as hard because you kind of knew what to expect a little bit. Tests were, well, tests are tests, you know. What are you gonna do about tests? So that's my gist of it. So overall, I think high school is really trying to find out who you really are. I've actually learned a lot from freshman year to senior year. You go through a little bit of puberty, I will tell you that, but I could tell you it's probably one of the most important times of your lives. And trust me, I didn't really like high school that much. I think it sucked really bad. You had to get up early, you have to go do something that you don't want to do. But I mean, sometimes it's like that, I guess, in the real world. Looking back on it, you know, I guess high school is kind of like a job. You can get jobs outside of high school while you're at high school. High schoolception for you. But it's really weird. I can tell there's a lot of people out there who struggle. I've struggled. Many of my friends have struggled. And it's just a bunch of struggles. At home, you know, your parents sometimes can get on you about stuff. The one thing I learned is that you kind of gotta be who you are. And I don't mean to like rebel against your parents or anything, because they love you and they're always going to be there for you. But sometimes they could just be a pain in the arse. But what I learned is that sometimes I tried to teach my parents stuff, and I've said a bunch of I know this, and I look back on myself and say, you know, at least as a young teen, and say that I just really thought I knew everything. And I could probably say that about most of our class as well. But, you know, we all go through a stage of learning and a bunch of experience stuff, so. Another struggle that I had was at school was a bunch of homework. Oh my goodness. The homework sucked arse. It was pretty bad. It's not as bad as senior year because I really only have like 2 to 3 classes of homework, so it's awesome. The thing that doesn't really go away probably throughout your life is studying. You know, you always got to study for something. You always got to be prepared for whoever the instructor, your boss, the manager, whoever is giving you something, be like, go and study this. Like I know at my previous job, when I was working at a Mexican restaurant called Ajo Al's, I had to study a menu. You know, you get associated with all of the foods and all that jazz. Yeah, aside from that, high school experience overall, I think it kind of sucked. But it kind of sucked in a good way as well, because you're finding out who you are, in a sense, and like who you're going to become and who you're going to hang out with and that stuff. So it's a really important time in your life. So for those of you who are not seniors, and I guess are seniors, hey, I'm just going to shout it out to everyone who is in high school at the moment. High school is a learning experience, but on top of that, it's finding out who you are and what you're going to do in life. Anyway, I hope you guys really much enjoyed this commentary. If you did, go ahead, click that thumb button, doesn't help me. If not, just give me some feedback. How did I do? How's my commentary? It's a little bit on and off, I know, but trust me, I'm going to get better at it as we go along. Anyway, I hope you folks enjoyed, and most importantly, Auf Wiedersehen.